welcome to the Pilates Live with Pilates Peggy. Always Wednesdays, 20 minutes from Little Yoga Spice. So I checked again because last time it was the same again, that the sound and the, always after 8-9 minutes, that the sound and the pictures are not matching anymore. And I tried on my phone with another app just to record and there was no problem. So it really seems to be the problem in the Facebook app. So I'm really sorry. I can't do anything more because I already tried to deinstall and install the app, but it doesn't seem to switch anything, doesn't seem to change anything. So in case this happens, yeah, check also on my site on Facebook, Pilates Peggy or Yoga Active Break. I will record always with my camera and then put it up there again. Yeah, so then there it should be for sure working. And even if it happens here in the live, I hope that it's still possible to do the video, as it's always just some seconds of delay. Yeah. So for today, I want to focus a little bit on the rib movements, on the lower ribs breathing movement. So have one hand onto your diaphragm and one onto your belly, and for the beginning only breathing into the hands and observing breathing movements. If it feels more comfortable for you, you also can close your eyes if it's then easier to observe. And I guess you can feel with the inhale how everything widens, how it expands, and with the exhale everything drops into the body. And then from here, take the index finger and your thumb and move it to the lower ribs. So you have here from the diaphragm, the lower ribs, they're going into a diagonal curve down. So touch the lower ribs. You can keep the other hand onto your belly. Inhale here. And with the exhale, move the index finger and the thumb together. So also your lower ribs will start to move together. So inhaling, exhaling, moving the belly in and moving the lower ribs together. And now check when you do that. So it's engaging the core from the belly, moving the lower ribs together, that you're not pulling them down. So it doesn't here curve your spine and that the spine sink. It should be the opposite way. By moving the lower ribs together, you're even expanding more your thoracic spine and your lumbar spine. So every exhale, belly moving in and up, and the lower ribs also trying to close them together. So by this, you have the whole muscle build, yeah? From the ribs, belly, pelvis, closing to the backside of your body. So you know now the lower ribs moving together. So then just to check again that doesn't make the spine sink, take your index finger and your thumb and move it from your hip bones also here to your lower ribs. Inhaling here and exhaling, you keep the distance. You even can spread the index finger and the thumb a little bit away so you feel the distance stays the same. Inhaling. Exhaling, engaging the core, belly in and up, lower ribs moving together and keeping the distance between your rib cage and your pelvis. Inhaling through the nose, engaging core. So for me, I really feel how the whole frontal wall is closing inwards. And that doesn't give me any of that pressing feeling, really hardcore core. Yeah. It's a soft engagement of belly in and up and going a little bit more with the lower ribs. 2 more breaths here. One more. Okay, from here, changing the legs to the back into all fours. And letting the ribs open. So open the chest and rounding the spine. And feeling the whole front, yeah, when you open to the front, feel also how the ribs expand. And then now you round your spine. So this is exactly the opposite that we just did before. So feel the opposite. And then from here, lengthen your spine. And then come back into the same thing that you had before. Inhaling, exhaling, belly wants to move to the spine and upwards. And you close your lower ribs. And this time, you're not going to round the spine. You keep the spine long. Inhaling through the nose, engaging the core. And engaging also the lower ribs together. And you still keep the distance between your pelvis and your rib cage. One more. And from here, lift one leg up, opposite arm to the front. You go into the complete stretch of the spine. You inhale here, exhale, you engage your frontal wall, and then you try to reach arm and leg higher, which should hardly be possible because you don't want to go into that movement that you had before where the ribs open. You're going to go the opposite, closing the ribs together, and counter movement, trying to reach arm and leg higher. And then back, parallel to the floor. Engaging the core, counter movement, trying to reach arm and leg higher and down. One more. And back, stretching the bum to the back, giving a little rest for the wrist. And switching to the other side. Yeah, I know those exercises sometimes it feels a little bit boring, but the more body awareness you have, also the more exciting also those exercises get. So you're long, you're inhaling here, exhaling, you're moving the belly inwards, closing the ribs, and trying to lift arm and leg higher. And still keeping the same length of your spine, so also the tailbone is reaching back. And back parallel. You always have those counter movements in Pilates. Yeah, you don't allow the body to do here what it wants to open. Yeah, you go in the opposite activity. And one more. And then to allow the spine to move again, open the chest and round. Easy movement. One more. And then straight away, laying down onto your belly. Inhaling here and finding the same movement of the belly engaging and then closing the lower ribs, and observe how that makes your tailbone moving more to your heels. And then inhale and exhale, engage again. And also observe here how now when your lumbar spine gets longer, how maybe the chest wants to round. And then go the opposite with the chest. The chest wants to move front, but your core engages and your lower ribs want to move together. It's super detailed work. So stay active in your brain, in your mind, with observing what is going on. Inhaling, every exhale, belly moving in and up, and even further, lower ribs moving together. And then opposite way, keep the chest opening to the front. Going one more. Last time. And then switching to the back, so roll onto your back. And here we're going to do the same thing. So use your hands again, thumb and index finger to your lower ribs, inhaling, belly moving in and up, and then also here move the ribs together, lift the head up, roll up to the tips of the shoulder blades. Inhaling, head back down. Exhaling, belly in and up, arrives to the lower ribs moving together. Once you have this, bring again, as we had into the beginning, the thumb and the index finger to your hip bones and to your rib cage, to the lower ribs of the rib cage, and try to keep that distance wide. Yes, so you're not trying to shorten into your waist. All of this stays really long and flat, even with all the core activity that you're creating to lift the head up. Yeah, so it's less the idea of doing crunches, yeah, and always shortening the front wall. Keep the front wall flat and long, and still you can engage. You can engage the muscles. By this, you will just work much, much deeper. And the levels of the muscles. One more. Last go. And then finding your way up, back up into all fours. Bringing one leg to the back, doesn't matter with which leg you start. Bringing the same hand again to your lower ribs. Inhaling here. Exhale, you open the hip. And then usually the body wants to expand, yeah, to go into a hollow back. So go the opposite way and feel your lower ribs closing together, which stretches your spine more from the tailbone to the top of the head. And then rotate back down. If you want to just also have a more balancing exercise, of course, you also can lift the legs. The legs would be difficult, only one leg. So whenever you open, check that your body doesn't allow to open. Go the opposite way, get the spine longer, belly in and up, and closing the ribs together. And moving back down. In case you have any struggle with the wrist of the hand on the floor, then always switch sides. Yeah, it's also a possibility. And also here, see what would your body like to do, and you go the counter movement. If you have the feeling for your lower ribs, yeah, then you also can move the arm beside the head and doing a whole circle. And also here, the belly in and up, lower ribs together, gives you the possibility to go into full stretch of the spine. One more. And take a little break, bump to the back. Yeah, if you need, if you stay on one side, maybe get some circles into the wrist. Okay, same to the other side. Leg to the back, in the floor or up, however you wish. Same hand to the lower ribs. And then open the pelvis. And also here, close the lower ribs together. So belly moving in and up, that goes further to the ribs, and that stretches the spine. And then rotate everything back down. Inhaling, reaching top of the head, feet, foot back. Exhaling. And observe any movement of the spine when you come up. And rotating back. Yeah, once you have the feeling for your muscle belt, also feel free to use the arm. And also observe here, because usually with the arm assembly it happens more that it opens. So go back, closing the front. Closing the front, yeah, it's not closing this way. Closing, I mean more this big muscle belt, flat muscle belt, the same that you already had before in the exercises before. Feel the whole distance between the top of the head and also the tailbone. The more you activate the front, also the tailbone reaches to the heel. Going last time. Give it a break, bound to the heels. Yeah, any circle needed into the wrist, then do that. And then let's go again, counter movement, so let the spine move, let the lower ribs move, open them, close them, go into both directions. Feel how one side is always shortening and the other side is lengthening. One more. From here, switch legs front. Roll down into the floor. Having your hands again onto your belly. So now you know your ribs, you know you want to keep the distance between your pelvis and your rib cage. So the hands can be flat on your belly just to have a little feedback. Inhaling here. Lifting the head up, rolling up to the tips of the shoulder blades. Long waist, belly in and up, lower ribs together, and then lift both legs up. Inhaling here, exhaling, feeling your muscle build, closing flat to the back. Two more. One more. Keep the same activity into the center. Stretch the legs diagonal front, moving the arms beside your head, and then closing your legs to your chest. You can stretch the legs front with an inhale or an exhale. And while you move the arms and legs, be the same precise in the work into your center. Yeah? So don't let the ribs open. They close together, waist stays long. You have time to observe and to stretch the breath. Yeah, also the more space you keep into your trunk, the more space you have for your inhale and your exhale. Going two more. One more. And with the next time, close the legs really close together to your chest, lower spine into the floor, make a little ball, and then go the opposite way. Stretch the legs, open the ribs, arms beside your head, stretch out. And then bring the feet closer to your butt. Bring the hands again to your lower ribs. Inhaling here, reaching the pelvis up vertebra by vertebra. And also here, don't go into this last movement of opening the ribs. Let them drop together. So So you feel by dropping the ribs together, the tailbone can move higher up. And then coming back down, vertebra by vertebra. Whenever you're ready, lift the pelvis up again. Keep the lower ribs closing. Feel the space between your pelvis and the rib cage. And by moving the lower ribs in, feel the length that you get into your lower spine. And then going back down. Going one more. And with the next time, then feel the opposite of allowing the lower ribs also to come up and open the chest. Maybe the lower spine shortens a little bit. And then come back down. Yeah, also this is okay. It's just two different movements with different focus. Yeah, but it's also absolutely okay to once in a while to really go to the max and open the chest. And coming back down. Going one more. And coming back down. And then finding back up. So this was a little bit more precise work also on the rib cage and on the center. I know usually it takes a little bit more patience because it's less moving, but it will be much deeper in the muscle work. And yeah, be patient with yourself of feeling also the rib work and still having an expansion for the breathing. See you next Wednesday. Bye.